Hello again. So I think I was going to talk about something kind of an interesting because the question popped up the other day when we were conversing with each other about some of the theological aspects. How does a God look like? And it is interesting because in Indian mythology, we have so far 10 reincarnation of Lord Vishnu, starting with lower animals like fish, and then coming back to the last one, which will be in this particular era called Kalki. Before that, of course, we have talked about Lord Krishna and Lord Rama and these kind of things. So the Dashavatar or 10 reincarnations actually show like an evolution from fish to amphibian to half man, half animal, and then a short man, and then the man with weapons, with stones, which is Parshuram, and the iron, and then of course the ideal king, Lord Rama, and then the multifaceted politician come practical Lord Krishna. So the question always comes to the mind as if I would talk to a God, or if our God would appear in front of me, how would he look like? Would it be a man? Would it be a woman? Would it be an animal? Would it be something like we have never seen, or something like what the movies show as aliens? And I think our human brain is limited in thinking. So sometimes I often ask people that if I asked you to close your eyes and answer a question, bring in front of you or pray your God, what comes to your mind or what shows in front of your eyes? Is it a cross? Is it Jesus? Is it Lord Krishna? Is it Lord Shankar? Is it Lord Vishnu? Is it Ganesh? Is it Hanuman? So what do you, or Rama, what do you actually see when you think about God? Whom do you pray? Because most of us, and probably all of us, can't pray in void. We need to have a form, and then only we can pray. Even those who say idol worshipping is not allowed, they pray Jesus Christ. They pray cross. They pray Mary. Or they pray something which has some form. So in Indian culture, we have something called Kuladaivat. Kuladaivat is family god. Hundreds of years ago, our ancestors who were praying, they were impressed by one particular form, either because of surroundings or because of they prayed and they were rewarded, or they were taken care of, or they got free from this sorrow and all this stuff. And so they started worshiping that particular one, and that's what is called Kula Daivat. Daivat means God or goddess, and Kula means family. So it's like a family god. And this family god, we all have it. Usually in an Indian culture, when we send invitations for auspicious occasions, we usually have their pictures, or we ask for the blessings. Even sometimes when we are sending an invitation for wedding, we usually give that first to our Kuladaivat. But sometimes in our own personal life, even though we still have the family God and we pray it and we have the statues of it and we do worship it, we tend to develop a personal relationship with a particular idol. It could be anything that you can imagine. But usually in most of us, it is related to one of the 4 or 5. Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, Shankar, Ganesh, and there are some people who do worship Datta. But these are the gods that are worshipped individually for our own sorrows, our own blessings, our own desires to be fulfilled. And this I call as personal God, or in Indian way to call it Ishta Devata. Ishta means something which is favorable to us. But this favorable one is our own personal God. So whatever is Ishta Daivat will not be the same for my son or my father or my brother or sister or wife, but our Kula Daivat, the family God, would be same. So the differentiation is between different gods, so-called different gods, or different forms of the gods with the same spirit, same consciousness, pervading whatever we try to look for or whatever we think is favorable to us. So that is called Ishta Devata. Most of the time when we close our eyes and we are asked to pray our God, we don't always have family God in front of our eyes. We usually have favorable God or Ishta Devata. So essentially, we worship that. Now coming back to the question, what do I see or what would I see if and when I die and I meet the God, if at all I've done enough to meet the God? And the interesting answer is that he will be or she will be whatever you want him or her to be. So more often in your psychological and physiological brain, if you have worshipped Lord Ganesh, when you will see the God who is personally talking to you in a Saguna Sakar with qualities and with form. So guna is three gunas. The Lord or the consciousness is without gunas and he is formless. But here we're talking about coming down to our level. Saguna, one who has qualities, that's why he can bless us and help us. And Sakar means he has a form. Akar means form. So Sakar means with form. So the God that we worship in our mind, in our intellect, in our brain, and consciously or unconsciously, whenever we are asked to pray the God, we worship that particular form with those qualities. He will be the one that we will see if and when we die and actually have a chance to talk to the God. There was a concept in the past that was promoted by some people saying that if I would worship Lord Ganesh with chanting or Lord Shankar or Shiva or Lord Krishna, and that chanting creates a vibratory forces in the astral world, and that form is created exclusively for me. And whenever I want to talk to that God, even with physical body or without the physical body, just the astral and the causal body, or Sukshma Sharir and the Karana Sharir, which has mind, intellect, ego, and Chaitanya, then that form will appear in front of me, which actually I have created. But I don't create a form. I usually look at a form and start forming its image in my own mind. And that's how I create that form in my mind. But it is always coming from some picture, some statue, some idol, some description. I don't bring a form which I've never seen, thought, or have an idea about. So usually when we worship a God, we worship favorable God to us, all called Ishta Devata. Whenever we are asked to close our eyes and bring some form of God in front of our eyes, it is the Ishta Devata, usually not the family God, but personal God. And if we ever are lucky enough to actually have a physical form of God talking to us or responding to our prayer, it will be that form, that one that we wished, that one we desired, that one we worshipped, that one we prayed, that one we requested our own personal sorrows to be helped for. That form will be appearing. So the answer is we will probably see our personal God, desired God, if at all we are lucky enough to talk to him or her. Thank you for watching. I hope you like it. Please subscribe and tell it to others. Have a nice day.